That's the problem. These women are over us. Let's start by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rachakodash. Welcome to another live lesson. You just heard the title of this, and the inspiration for this title and this lesson comes from a video I was watching earlier, the after camp lesson, Revelation 14th chapter. No, actually, it wasn't 14th chapter. I don't believe it was that one. I was watching something else earlier. Maybe it was this one. No, it wasn't 14th chapter because it was the last one that the apostles and the brothers at the New York camp did after camp, and the beloved elder apostle Gabar was speaking, and he was making a point. And he said, this is where I got the title from. He said, that's the problem. These women are over us. Because what he was doing, he was speaking about, the kingdom of heaven and how we're going to have more than one wife. Brothers, the apostle, Elder Apostle R, Elder Apostle Gabar, and the brothers, they were going back and forth, dialoguing about that. And pretty much, that's the sentiment. That some of these camps are teaching you can't have more than one wife. That's wickedness, that's adultery, blah blah, whatever, whatever madness they're teaching now. And pretty much, Elder Apostle Gabar was speaking about how in the kingdom of heaven we're going to have multiple wives, and how it says a strong one shall become a nation. So many words. He said, how the hell can you do that with one wife? And then he started going into, we're going to get back our godlike power. We're going to be taller in stature, we're gonna get our rods back, and all of that. He said, but that's the problem. These women are over us. So immediately when he said that, I said, I got my next lesson, Barakatah Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And I started thinking about that because we are the gods on the planet. But what happened is that the woman who was supposed to be subjected to us got that godlike power now in this world. So I got a couple of precepts. Hopefully this internet don't bug out. But I want to go to Jeremiah 31 first, and hit a point there, because this is a very key, important scripture, especially today. Matter of fact, before I actually read this, another one just came to mind. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 82 and verse 5. And it reads, it says, they know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. So everything on the planet is out of course. Whenever you have something that works in a synergy, which a synergy means many different components working for one goal. Whenever you throw any mechanism of that off, it throws the whole thing off. Like you have a watch. A watch has many different components inside of it, or the old watches anyway. Many different components inside of it that make it work. Now, if any part of that mechanism is faulty, the whole machinery breaks down, And this is why you see the world turned upside down like it is. So in this society, right, well, as the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai established and set it up, let's go real quick to 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 3. And it says, but I would have you know that the head of every man is Yahweh Shai, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Yahweh Shai is the Most High. So the head of the woman is the man. But in this society, they have given these women a godlike power that made them the heads instead of the man, especially among Jake. And this has been the problem. That's the problem. These women are over us right now. They've been given that leadership position by Esau. And they don't know what to do with that leadership position because they were not meant to be the leaders. And this is why shit is all fucked up. It's all fucked up. Why? Because you have the foundations of the earth are out of course. The head of the woman is supposed to be the man. But in today's standards, you have the woman being over the man. And this is why there's so much confusion, because she is in a position where she does not belong. She is in a position that she cannot fill. See, it's just an illusion. She's been tricked by the serpent into an illusion of power. Right? So let's get Jeremiah 31:22. It says, how long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For the Lord hath created a new thing in the earth. This is a new thing, not an old thing. Because the new thing, or the old thing was what? That the man is to be over the woman. The new thing is what? A woman shall compass a man. And this is why you see the women in the position of a leader where they do not belong. And being that they're in a position of a leader, they don't know what to do with that power. So what do? They abuse the power, and they have things all effed up. Why? Because they don't know what they're doing. Because they do not belong in that position. You know, this is a position that they were deceived into accepting, into pushing and pumping themselves up. Especially the Judite woman, the so-called black woman. And this is why she's so fucking miserable like she is today. And all these other women, the other tribes and the women that are following that same spirit, that feminine spirit, are in that same demonic spirit. You know, they're in that you know, being rejected spirit, especially women here in America, Babylon the Great. You know, and they're feeling the crunch. They're feeling that neglect. They're feeling, you know, the ostracizing from men. Why? Because of that funky ass attitude that they believed, you know, from Esau. Because they're the ones that pushed that. Now I look at the word compass, and it says sabab, from the Hebrew sabab. You know, and you brothers out there, you know, when you go to the Old Testament and you go to the Hebrew words, you know, don't fake the funk. You know what I'm saying? Either learn it or don't even try to say it, because sometimes brothers will read the transliteration or pronunciation that Esau puts on, and that's not the right proper pronunciation in most cases. 95% of the time, 98% of the time, that's not the proper pronunciation. Either learn it or don't even say it. Sabab, to turn about or around or aside or back or towards. So in other words, you're going in one direction and they're turning it the other way around. You know, you're going somewhere else. There was another precept that just came to mind, forgot it, but let me go to this one since it's in my brain right now. But let me see if if it'll come back. To turn about or around or aside or back or towards. Go about or around, surround, encircle, change direction. Barakateh Hawba Shemal Shai came back. Change direction. So I'm going to get two precepts. Isaiah chapter 19, verse 14. That's the one that came to mind. Barakateh Hawba Shemal Shai came back. Right? And it says, the Lord hath mingled a what? A perverse spirit in the midst thereof. And America has been that, you know, the champion of pushing that spirit out there. They're trying to push that spirit on the world. But them Eastern countries are not having that. You know, Eastern world countries are not having the woman being over the man. They're not having that Mo lifestyle. They ain't having it. But here in America, Babylon the Great, it's the norm. And that's the problem. The women are over us. And they don't know what to do with that power because they don't belong in that position. This is why you see so much dysfunction among Jake out here. Because the women are in the wrong position. And they've been put in that position by the serpent. And we're going to get that. We're going to go to Genesis, the 3rd chapter. Lord's will. You know, because they're in the wrong position. If you're in the wrong position, you're not going to be able to fulfill your purpose. You're not going to be able to fulfill, your what you were meant for, what you were set up to do. Let me see. The brother Hawad, the young elder Hawad, put 2 Ezra 15:6. For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Right, and that's the problem. Wickedness has polluted this earth. And the scriptures say that the knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom, but that's what this country and this society is pushing. The knowledge of wickedness. That's that golden cup that is in America, Babylon the Great's hand, that they're pushing on the world and making the world drink. And they're pushing it upon the leaders of the world, and the leaders of the world that are accepting it, they're pushing it upon their citizens. And this is why the whole world is in wickedness. The whole world lieth in wickedness, as it states in our 1 John the 5th chapter. I'm not quoting it verbatim. Now the brother, I'm gonna read this again, but the brother Amawan Ibad, I think his name is, the brother out there in South Carolina, he put the scripture that I have also next, so I'm gonna read that one next. But Isaiah 19:14, the Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err. The word err is E-R-R, which means this is a shortened way of saying error. So this perverse spirit has caused people to commit errors. And this is why the women are committing many errors, because they are in a position that they don't belong. And being that they're in that position that they don't belong, they make all the wrong decisions. Because that body, I guess for lack of better words, that's in that position doesn't belong there. So it doesn't have the proper capability of making the proper decisions, making the right calls, the right judgment calls, basing things off of emotion instead of logic. Because women were not given that position. Women are nurturers. Women are helpers, not leaders. But they've been given that false sense. By who? By the serpent. It says, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. So a drunken man staggering in his vomit, he might be the wisest man on the earth. He might be the most knowledgeable man on the earth. But when he's in the sauce, his motor skills don't function properly. He can't formulate a proper sentence. He can't stand up straight because he's drunk. And that's what happens with these women. They have drank of that Babylonian juice, and they're all fucked up. They have this perverse spirit on them, and that perverse spirit has caused them to commit errors. And they're fumbling all over themselves just like a drunken man staggering in his vomit. He can't get out of that vomit. Why? Because he's drunk. And these women are drunk with that pseudo power that Esau gave them. So we're going to look up a couple of these words before we go to the other scripture. Let's look up the word mingled. Because Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, mingled this perverse spirit here that caused all of these people to commit these errors. And those errors got them, fumbling back and forth. They're drunk. And these women are drunk off of that pseudo power, that fake power. So the word there is masak for mingle. It says to mix, mingle, produced by mixing. All right? Let's go back. Because the instructions are already there. But they're not following the instructions. So the word perverse is the word awayim, right? And it goes back to the root word aywa, which means iniquity, perverse, right? Wicked, trouble. Yeah, because these things are going to cause problems. It says distorting, perverting, warping, meaning changing things. When your tires warp, when your tires are good, they're round, they give you a nice smooth ride. But then when you have a warped tire, your car runs crazy. You know, it doesn't run smoothly. And that's what's happening. This perverse spirit or this warped spirit got everything running wrong. That's why everything is the way it is. Because the ones that are in position to lead, meaning the woman, don't belong in that position. That's a warped position that they're in. So they're riding down the street like that warped tire. And they're making the whole ride not to be smooth. They're making the ride to be a rough, crazy ride when if they would go back into their rightful position, everything would run properly. But that's what they don't want. You know? I saw there was 99 people in here. Then after Spirit had that come out, saw 2 people drop out quick. Goodbye. All right, Isaiah 29 and verse. I started at 14. Therefore, behold, I will proceed to do a marvelous work among this people, even a marvelous work and a wonder. For the wisdom of their wise men shall perish, and the understanding of their prudent men shall be hid. And this is why, because there are no wise men out here except for the men that the Israelites that are coming back. And even among these Israelites that are coming back, you have those that are not wise. You know? And then it goes on to say, woe or destruction unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark, and they say, who seeth us, and who knoweth us? Right. It says, surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as a potter's clay, because eventually everything's going to be turned right side up. You know, because the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is going to make it to be turned right side up. It says, for shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding? You see? So the Lord created you, fool. You didn't create yourself. And he gave the proper order. But you went outside of that order. So things are out of order now. All right? Let me look up this word, turning of things upside down. You have the word there, hapak. Perverseness, perversity, which goes back to what was read in the book of Isaiah 19. It says, an upset. See, so things are upset. Why? Because they're not being run properly, because the one that's at the helm running things, being the woman, doesn't belong in that position. And that's the problem. These women are over us, as the elder apostle Gabar said. It says perversity, turning of things upside down. So all of the course of the world is out of course. Everything is out of course, because the devil that's in power had given power or a godlike state to a woman, and she don't belong in that godlike state. She belongs in the state where she supports the God man, which is the Israelite man. But that's all turned upside down, because a woman's compassing a man now. All right? Now, let's go from there. Let me see what else we got over here. May go to perverse spirit. Okay, I wanted to look up the word air in Isaiah 19. The word air is tha'ai. Tha'ai. To err, wander, go astray, stagger. See, so when you're going astray, you're going off the beaten path, so to speak. And going off that beaten path that the scriptures laid out, you know, you're going through rough terrain. You're like that warped tire on a smooth street. You're not going to get a smooth ride, because until you change that tire, your ride is going to be uncomfortable. Until you women learn your position and your place where you belong, things are going to be uncomfortable for you. You're not going to be able to function properly. because you're out of order. And that's the problem. These women are over us. And they're in a position that they do not belong. And until they don't get back into the corner like the rest of the rats, now just joking, inside joke, until they don't get back into their position, things are not going to run smoothly. And you're going to see that even more when the time of Jacob's trouble hits. Because these women are feeling the pinch now, especially the Judite women. You know, they feeling the neglect, the ostracizing. You know, they can't, you know, they got to turn to lapping each other to get sexual pleasure because a lot of jakes out here ain't dealing with them. They turn into the white woman. They turn into other women. They even so much is going outside of the country to find women. Because the American woman in America ain't shit. She bought that Babylonian juice from the serpent. And you better believe that the serpent that gave that false sense out there to you women, their women are in order. Their women don't usurp authority over them. But you bought the shit. You drank that serpent's venom. And now you're pickled in it. Gulping it every day, huh? Inside joke. You know, but it's true. And the Lord is going to put you back in order. And it's not going to take a whole lot of time to get these women in order. As soon as the Lord snaps Jacob's trouble into place, these women are going to snap right into order. You know? And those are facts. Because the woman is the weaker vessel. The man is the stronger vessel. The man is the provider, the protector. The woman is the nurturer, the helper. All right? So, let's go from there. Let's see what we got here. That's to change direction. That was for the word compass. All right, so let's go to Genesis. Genesis chapter 3. You women bought that shit. You bought that women's women's right, women are equal to men. You know, like that crazy hoe that got hit upside the head with the brick. She talking about women are the providers. They got the breast milk. They do this. They're the protectors. They're this and that and the other. And when she got rocked by that brick, she looking at all them Jake men out there. None of them are coming to protect me. Wait a minute. I thought you said y'all were the protectors. So you bought that bullshit from Esau. You bought that serpent's venom. You bought that shit. And now you're in a world of hurt. And it's just beginning. These are just you're just seeing the tip of the iceberg of the hardships that are coming for you women until you get back in your proper order. You know? So let's go to Genesis chapter 3 and 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Lord power had made. And he said unto the woman, well, pretty much what this serpent is talking about an actual man that was in the garden. Now, I'm not sure if the serpent here, if it mentions that, because it just says serpent here, serpent. Yeah, fleeing, so yeah, mythological. So it doesn't really go into it. But when you do go to the word, what is it, Satan, I believe, in the New Testament, or serpent. Let me see. Let me fact check that. Let's go to Revelation 20. I'm just going to get the word serpent. I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to get the word serpent. That old serpent. Let's see what it says. I believe that's the one. Right, and it says archaeos, which is archaic, which is ancient. The word there is ophis, for serpent. It says snake, serpent. It says, with the ancients, the serpent was an emblem of cunning and wisdom. The serpent who deceived Eve was regarded by the Jews as the devil, which it was an actual man. Down here in Strong's definition, it says, through the idea of sharpness of vision. And they do have a sharpness of vision, you know, and the symbol for wisdom is a serpent. You know, the word lamad in the Hebrew, the la, is a coiled serpent. Lamad, to learn, right? It says a snake figuratively as a type of sly cunning, an artful, malicious person, especially Satan, serpent. So you have people that are considered to be malicious serpents, malicious person. There's a definition for the word serpent in the regular dictionary. Let me see what comes up. Serpent definition. A large snake, a sly or treacherous person, especially one who exploits a position of trust in order to betray it. You see? Scriptures say no liars of the truth. So the serpent came with truth, but all along he wanted to push that lie on Eve. Because it goes on to say in Genesis 3:1, it says, and he said unto the woman, yea, hath the Most High said, you shall not eat of every tree of the garden? So he pretty much asked her a rhetorical question, which he really didn't want the answer because he already knew what the answer was. But he threw that at her so that she can inquire or she could say what she had to say so he can come back with the lie. See? And you bought that shit. You bought that shit. You bought it. Hook, line, and sinker. You bought the venom, the serpent's venom. You bought and you drank that Babylonian juice. You thought you could lead the nation. But you were wrong. You were dead wrong. And now you're suffering the consequences. You see? And shit's gonna get right once Jacob's trouble hits. You're gonna feel the crunch. You're gonna feel the pinch. You're gonna want to get right, but for a lot of you, it's gonna be too late. Because you're just tarnished goods. Some of you women that have so many men that you gotta go get surgery on your vajayjay because of viscosity and the trying to be not be too graphic, but the there's no more functionality down there. I'll just put it like that. So they gotta go and sew the shit back up and take off extra shit and make it, make it like it was. Because you don't have so many men up in you, so many rods up in you, that your shit don't even, it ain't even pleasurable no more. So you got to go get surgeries. You got to go soak in vinegar to try to get the thing back to where it's supposed to be. Hey, you bought the serpent's venom. You bought it. So now you got to live with the consequences. So it says back in Genesis 3:2, and the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, the Most High hath said, you shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest you die. And that's what the serpent was waiting for. He was baiting her with that question. He was baiting her with that. And she bought it. Why? Because she's the weaker vessel. That's why the Apostle Paul said that, the woman being deceived was in the transgression. Not the man. She came to the man. But the woman was the one that was deceived. So verse 4, it says, and the serpent said unto the woman, because he saw the opportunity now to run the game. He was just waiting for the opening. And the serpent said unto the woman, an actual man. Because the word creature, when you read up above, goes back to the word create. Bara, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. To create. Man was created. Man is a creature. Creature is not just a monster or an animal. Creature are creatures that were created by the Most High. Everything that you see was created by the Most High. So it says, for the Most High doth know in that day that you eat thereof, Then your eyes shall be what? Opened, and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. Which he was right about that. But he was wrong about the dying part. You know? Because that's total disobedience. And what did the prophet Samuel say to King Saul? You know, to disobey is as a sin of witchcraft or something along those lines. It says, and when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, why? Because her mind was open up to the realm of the gods, pretty much. And that's what happened. The feet is starting to act up now. You know, their mind was open up to the realm of the gods to be in that position. And what happened? They bought into that shit. They reveled in it. And now they're suffering for it. You know? But it's just the beginning. You ain't seen nothing yet. But baby, you just ain't seen nothing yet. All right? It says, and it was pleasant to the eyes. Yeah, because to these women, wickedness is pleasant. You know? Being in that God position and that leadership position is pleasant to them. But they want to be in that position, but they don't want the responsibility that comes with it. That's the problem. They got all that power and they don't know what to do with it. And when the responsibilities come, they shrug them, and what happens? It causes problems because they're not built like that. They were built to be helpers, not to be usurpers, not to be in that leadership power position that was given to the man. You have your position. Your position is great. Nobody else can fill that position but you. But you don't want that. You want the head position. So you got it. And look at the consequences. Look at the great job that you've done in destroying the community, so-called community. Destroying Jake out here, the men and the women. This is you. Like that one Jake said, you know, y'all been you've been single mothers for 50 years. So all of these Jakes out here that are in the fucked up position they're in, they were raised by you. And you talking about the man ain't shit. Well, the man got kicked out the house. You're raising him. That's your product. That's the product of the Big Shirley environment. The product of the Keisha environment. And the rest of you tribes out there that buy into this shit. You bought this shit. This is your mess. So go clean it up. You know, the Lord is going to clean it up. Because he's setting things back in order before your eyes. Some of you going to get it, some of you are not. Because the majority of Jakes in America are going to die. Period. They're in for a rude awakening. You know? So this is your mess. You created this mess. You bought that serpent's venom. You bought that serpent's juice. You sipped that Babylonian, drink. And now you got to pay. It says, in a tree to be desired to make one wise, see, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. So what happened? She got a taste of that godlike power and didn't know what to do with it. Therefore committed error, got into that perverseness, and shit is turned upside down. Yep, like the brother Hawat said, woman, female, servant. That's it. Maid. You're a help. You're a nurturer. Be who you were made to be. Because when you try to be something that you were not made to be, you destroy shit. just like this goddamn devil, Esau. And then you got these clowns talking about you can't hate Esau. That's what the scriptures say, that a gift destroyeth the heart. And how for shit to be so perverse as it is, hey, it makes you question. Did they take the bag? Because this is what was happening to the ICGJC at one time. They had the right doctrine and they started changing it. First thing they changed was they got rid of Yahushua's name. Then they got rid of the Most High's name. Then they started bringing in Roman Catholic dogma into the Hebrew Israelite thing. So where right now you don't even hear of them, you couldn't even recognize the doctrine. It had a semblance of being Israelites, but it's a Roman Catholic doctrine. From the teachings to the way they dress and everything. And that's what's happening right now with the IUIC and other groups that are slowly but surely changing things. It's a gradual thing. And that's how the serpent works. Elder Apostle Gabar makes a point when he brings out the serpent. When you have a rat or a mouse thrown in a cage with it, the mouse or the rat is jumping around, moving too fast, so the snake goes what? And coils itself in the corner somewhere. And that rat or that mouse is so nervous and scared that it's trying to get out, that it exhausts itself. And by the time it exhausts itself, it can't fight anymore. So here comes a serpent, slides up in there, puts a stranglehold on them, and squeezes the rest of the life out of it. And that's what this devil has done to the world. Gradually choking off all semblance of righteousness. But there's a bastion of hope in the Israelites. Beginning with Great Millstone. I know a lot of you guys hate it when we say that. We got 100% truth. Beginning with Great Millstone. This is a great bastion of hope in the world. And those of you other groups out there that teach the same doctrine that we teach. Because the IUIC don't teach what we teach. They teach some of the stuff, but they go off on a lot of things. The ISUPK do not teach what Great Millstone teaches. They go off on a lot of things. Thomas John the Baptist went off. He fell out the truth. You can have sex on the Sabbath. The MOTB is an embargo or whatever else they teach, So a lot of these different groups are starting to falter. Scripture say evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse. And this is what we're witnessing. At the end of the day, it's not about being cool. It's about who Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is with and who he's not with. There's going to be a separation. There ain't going to be no more that, they're teaching it. No. Either you teach it right or you don't teach it at all. Because the scriptures say that no lie is of the truth. A little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. So if your doctrine is flawed, the whole thing becomes tainted until you correct those issues that are wrong. All right, so it says, verse 7, and the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked, meaning they had sinned, and they sewed fig leaves together, right? And what are those fig leaves? That is the identity of these nations. For example, you get into any of those philosophies, when you start acting out or doing the tenets of those philosophies, those are the aprons that you're putting on. Just like we have the garment on, the garment of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua and his truth, they put on the garments like Jake in the Christian church. They got on the garments of Esau, that plantation / Renaissance Christianity. Islam and all those other, the same thing. Those are all the aprons, the garment that they have on. And the scriptures speak about in one of those smaller books, I'm not sure if it's Zephaniah or Nahum, it speaks about the children having on strange apparel. That's the strange apparel, those aprons. Those false philosophies that are covering Jake. They cover it with a covering, but not of my spirit, the Lord said. So that all is going to change, it's going to stop. And you women are going to be put back into the proper order where you belong. because you are out of order. And this is why you see this whole thing, going the way that it's going. Because you are totally out of order. The brother, I'm a one I bad. I believe that's the brother's name. Zephaniah 1. And and 8. And it shall come to pass in the day of the Lord's sacrifice that I will punish the princes and the king's children, right? The princes are the leaders, the king's children, and all such as are clothed with strange apparel, right? And that strange apparel is this wickedness. And these false philosophies is also what made Jake strangers or Gentiles. Let me see what the word strange apparel is here. Strange. The word there is Nakaria. See? So there's certain times, I say about 5% of the time, 5 to 10% of the time, when you see the word Nakaria or Thawashab, I believe the other is, which is used for the actual strangers, about 5 to 10% of the times it's applied to Israel. There's degenerate plant of a strange vine, strange apparel. And this is how you know that the Gentiles in the New Testament are Israelites that were in that Gentile state of mind. Because they totally went off during the time of the Hellenistic period, which is when the Edomite Greeks took power over the known world at the time and Hellenized everybody. All right. So let's go to Isaiah 32 and 9. Let's end it there real quick. First, I start at 2. Isaiah 32 and 2. And a man shall be as an hiding place from the wind. A man, not a woman, shall be as an hiding place from the wind. For who? For the woman. And a covert from the tempest. Because what is a tempest and what is this wind? That's talking about Jacob's trouble. The Lord said that he will make a man more precious than fine gold. So if women were supposed to be the head, and they were supposed to be in that position, why didn't the Lord say that he will make a woman more precious than fine gold? Why did he say a man? An Israelite man at that. Because the man is the leader. He is the pillar of strength. That's why you have these women out there, I'm tired of being strong. I'm tired. I want a man so he could be strong. Yeah, because you bought the serpent's venom. And you see it and you're feeling the repercussions of it. I think there was one woman that dressed like a man, and I think it was just one day. I'm not sure if it was a day or a week or whatever. She went through the hardships that a man has to go through every day, and she came to the realization like men got it hard, especially in America in this society. You want all the perks of being in a leadership position, but you don't want any of the responsibilities or consequences that it comes with. Ain't that about a bitch? So it says, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. That's right. And the Israelite man is going to be that, the elect. Like you're in a desert somewhere, and you thirsty and you dying of thirst, and all of a sudden you see like a brook or some type of water, and you're able to drink from it, and your spirit comes back into you. That's how an Israelite man of the elect is going to be in these times to you women. It's going to be like shade. You're in a hot ass sun. It's 150 degrees, and you're about to faint, and all of a sudden you come into some shade, and then you get reprieve. You know, you catch a break from that heat, because that heat is coming. And it's right around the corner. The heat is coming right around the corner. Time of Jacob's trouble is coming. And the ones that's going to be affected the most is you women and you metrosexual men. You moles and the like are all going to be affected by this. It's going to get hard out here in these streets. And those of you that are in the cities are going to get it the worst because you are used to living an easy lifestyle. And you've become weak through living this easy lifestyle. Instant everything. You know? Isaiah 32:9. Rise up, you women that are at ease. Let's look up this word, rise up. It should be the word quam or quawam. Yep, quawam or quam. Like we say, quam yasha'Allah means rise Israel. Quawam. It says to arise, stand, rise up. Right, because here it says to arise, hostile sense. And why is that? Raise up because you're in a comfortable position. So raise up out of that comfortable, laid-back position. Hear my voice, you careless daughters. And you have the opportunity to hear it now before that storm comes. But you ain't going to listen. It says, give ear unto my speech. Why is that? So that you can receive the proper instruction. Remember, the scriptures speak about there's nothing more valuable than a mind well instructed. In so many words in the Apocrypha. Many days and years shall you be troubled. Trouble is coming. Let's look up this word, troubled. Shall you be troubled? The word there is ragazah or ragaz. It says trouble, quake. You're going to be quaking, rage, quiver, be agitated. Why? Because you women are comfortable. You bought that shit. You know, you laying down with Tom, Dick, Harry, Harriet, you know, and the such. You have no boundaries. You know, there's nothing to stop you from doing what you do. You give it to your pleasures. You know, like it's going to say, you're careless. It says, be excited, be perturbed. You're going to be perturbed. Disquieted. Let's go back. Be troubled. Because it says, you careless woman. Let's see what it says for careless. The word there is batak. It says to trust, have confidence. To feel safe, be careless. Right, because you feel safe, you're careless in this society because you feel safe. But that safety net is going to be yanked. And the same devil that gave you that freedom, I'll give you freedom. That same devil that gave you freedom, he's going to snatch it right back from you. And you're going to be in a world of trouble. It says, for the vintage shall fail. Let's look up this word vintage. For the vintage shall fail. Now you got all these perks, all these goodies, but it's going to fail. It says batazayar, vintage, it doesn't say much. Grape crop, clip. Yeah, so in other words, you know, the benefits that you receive in this society. Just like you plant a vineyard of grapes, and then what's the benefit of that? When the gathering comes in, you know, when the fruits of it comes in. So all of the fruits that you've been receiving, your child support and all this stuff, is about to get cut off. It's about to get cut off. It says the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. Let's go to the word gathering. The word is asap. Gathering, collection, harvest. Right. The harvest meaning the collections. Things that you get in. The benefits you've been receiving. That got you living carelessly. That got you living comfortably. You're about to be troubled. It says, tremble, ye women that are at ease. And you women here in America, boy, you are at ease. You are at ease. You are at ease. That's why the majority of you are overweight, shaped like a yak. You know, you shovel whatever you want in your mouth. You know, you lay down with whoever you want to lay down with. There's no boundaries, there's no limitations to you. But you're about to feel the crunch. It says to tremble, quake, move about, be afraid. And fear is a great motivator. See, the reason why you women are the way you are, because there's nothing there to put the fear of the Most High in you. But once the fear of the Most High is put in you, you're going to want to get right. Before a lot of you, it's going to be too late. Be afraid. Be startled. Yeah, because right now you're comfortable. You know, you laying on the couch, you're all comfortable, watching whatever, and all of a sudden something jumps out and scares the shit out of you, and you start, oh my God, you know? That's how you're going to be. To be anxiously careful. You know how you see them movies where, you know, like the Road, you know, or different other movies, Book of Eli, different movies like that, futuristic movies, where women are moving about very cautiously, you know, jumping at everything, you know, and being afraid of everything and hoping that, you know, the boogeyman don't come get them. The boogeyman's coming, man. To go or come trembling. To drive in terror. Damn. So you're going to be driven in terror. You're going to be trembling. You're going to be, man, ye women that are at ease, be troubled, you careless ones. Strip you, make you bare, because you're going to lose everything. And gird sackcloth upon your loins, because you're going to go from living it up, living a life like it's golden, to trembling. You know, your weave is going to be all fucked up. Your nails are going to be all fucked up. You ain't going to have no makeup. You know, you're going to have no foundation to put on your face. All the, you know, inconsistencies and the different things that you've got, the you know, all the blemishes and all that's going to all show. Dig it. They shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vine. Yeah, because you're going to be thinking about all of the goodies, you know, that you had. You know? It says, upon the land of my people shall come up thorns and briars. Right. You're going to go from having everything at your disposal to having nothing. Upon all the houses of joy in the joyous city. Because the palaces shall be forsaken, the multitude of the city shall be left, the forts and towers shall be for dens forever, a joy of wild asses, a pasture of flocks. Until the Spirit be poured upon us from on high, and the wilderness be a fruitful field, and the fruitful field be counted for a forest. Yeah, and you got to come back to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And you have to be humbled. You have to be taught all over again. But a lot of you are going to be put to death. You're going to be deleted. You're going to be deleted in this Jacob's trouble that's coming. That's going to be one of the last tests, because it's going to be the time of Jacob's trouble, which, you know, the MOTB, which is the micro C-hip, that's going to be the major thing that's going to push you into a corner. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I could leave it there. You know, the point is made, you know. So as the elder Apostle Gabar said, you know, that's the problem. Women are over us. And you're in a position that you don't belong. But you're about to get back to that position where you belong. You know, so with that, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. To the next time I say, Shalom.